What we've got here is a 2011 Nissan Frontier. She's been through the ringer. Pretty sure it's been rolled. What is your assessment of this fine automobile?
It looks tilted.
I think the frame is twisted from kind of from the front spring mounts back. I think we might have a winner. Power's good, ground is good. It's not a rabbit hole, but there's definitely a rodent involved. It feels like ABS activation. And I don't think it set any codes. I spoke too soon. You just got too big of an exhaust leak there at the donut behind the converter on both sides. It's back. Welcome to part 2 on the little Nissan that could. Let's start with the good news. I just picked this little guy up from the body shop. They were able to mostly straighten the frame and mostly fix the front end alignment. So the gap here at the back of the cab to the box is now even. Just visually sighting the back of the truck, you know, the bumper sits level. Before, this corner was way up. He got the camber adjusted within spec. The caster is still a little bit out here on the right hand side, but I drove it and yeah, it drives fine. It's a major improvement over what it was. We do still have some problems though. So we have the P2A00 and the P2A03. I believe we saw that in the last video. I also have this C1115 ABS sensor abnormal signal code. That could potentially explain why we're getting that unwanted ABS activation. It also has a bad U-joint. And yeah, I want to do something about those exhaust leaks. Yeah, here's the bad U-joint right at the back of the transfer case. Don't remember seeing that before, although I don't know if I really checked it. All right, we're tapped into both rear axle wheel speed sensors. The left side here has been replaced, so I want to see if there's a difference between the aftermarket and the OEM. This is what the Pico guided test tells us that it should look like. All right, we're going to put 5 seconds on the clock here. And we'll roll the scope. And we'll turn the wheels. And we will see nothing on the scope. All right, there is a signal there. It's just very weak. So the red is the OEM sensor and the blue is that aftermarket sensor on the left. And yeah, the left side's basically doing nothing. Right side's only, what, 8.5 millivolts? But I'm kind of probed in wrong. So that's just the voltage that's being generated by the sensor itself. There's no bias voltage coming from the ABS module. Yeah, I think it's still a valid test though. Shows us that that aftermarket sensor output is not the same as the OEM. I've got the original sensor here. At least I think it's the original sensor. I'm going to swap it back in and we're going to see if this changes. All right, I ended up back probing those sensors and testing them with the key on. Now the signal looks quite a bit better. And left and right are pretty similar. So I don't think the problem is in the rear. I'm just not seeing a problem here. So I believe these are called magnetoresistive sensors. So they're different than the old variable reluctance sensors that would make a kind of a squiggly wave that varied in amplitude and frequency. These are 2-wire sensors, but they create more or less a digital output that has a fixed amplitude. and I'm just not seeing any problems. Nothing's dropping out. It looks pretty good. So we might have to somehow wire up all 4 sensors and take it out for a drive. Maybe there's some kind of speed range where it has a problem and we just can't replicate it here in the bay. This is quite a lash up. Got just enough cable to reach the scope. Hopefully we can still shut this door. Yeah, let me weasel in here and we'll go for a ride. Focus. All right, I think we got all sensors reading. Don't count on it staying that way. Back probes are such a pain in the butt. Yeah, they look the same except for that blue one there at the top. I don't know what the deal is with that. Anyway, let's take this rig for a ride. Well, guess what, folks? We fixed it. The only thing different now from the last time I drove it is I did swap that left rear wheel speed sensor back to the original, and it's fine now. There's no ABS activation on braking. It's just like it should be. Yeah, we would have felt it for sure. Well, that sucks. Rigged all that up for nothing. All right, back to the shop, lick our wounds, on to the next item. All day long. Straight pipe Peterbilts in and out. I did replace this rear U-joint as well. Got a lot of grief in a previous video for not replacing all the U-joints. I just do what the customer wants. Alright, now for the real fun. U-joints are done. ABS issues are hopefully fixed. That just leaves the exhaust. So somebody stole the cats off this thing. I'm sure that's what started all this. Not sure why they didn't steal the upper ones. Too hard to get in there, I guess. Anyway, they must have chopped it there at the flange, and then they gave up and chopped it again back here by the O2 sensor. So it's been welded back together, but there's no weld on the top side. So the top of that pipe's basically just open. Same thing on this side. And then, yeah, they scabbed in some larger diameter pipe, and again, that's not welded on the top side, just on the bottom where they could reach it. So I think we can do a little bit better than that. We're gonna have to cut these flanges apart and get the thing down where we can work on it. We'll probably just drill those studs out and put some bolts through. Let me tell you what a good time that is. Man, it's so quiet and stealthy. I can't believe these cat converter thieves never get caught. The left side doesn't look too bad. We'll just cut this pipe off. We'll weld on a length of regular 2-inch exhaust, and then we'll expand that out so it'll fit over the existing pipe. Then I'll clean this weld up and re-weld it. The right side might be a little more tricky. It's got kind of a jog to it. Come on. Is that really so hard? There you go.
Somehow the wire speed got turned up to maximum. That'll do it.
Somehow I managed to spend the better part of an entire day working on the bottom side of this truck. Yeah, that exhaust isn't pretty, but it's a whole lot better than what we started with. O2 sensors are back in. Got new gaskets on the flanges. Everything's welded up there. I did have to index this flange a little bit to make everything come out. That's why they had that offset in that pipe. I think they got it indexed wrong when they welded it back on. Yeah, the left side looks good too. Got some hose clamps on those heat shields. I think we're ready to set it down and try it out. Oh yeah, she's just purring like a kitten. Tell you what, if a guy replaced all the airbags, most of the interior, the inner fender, the front bumper, the sway bar links, and then did maybe 5 figures worth of body work, you'd have a pretty nice little truck. All right, let's go for a joyride. Oh, it's so much better without that U-joint squeaking at us. The suspension still creaks pretty bad. Oh, the exhaust is so much quieter. It's a massive improvement. Yeah, it stops just fine with no ABS rumble. I think we got it. Yeah, I don't ever want to complain about being busy, but it would be nice to get caught up just a little bit. I've got people waiting 3 weeks for an oil change. All right, let's see. Did it set the codes? No DTCs detected. Well, that's good. Remember the last time we did the first test drive, we had those P00A2 or whatever it was. Okay, cool. Yeah, the check engine light will probably come back on. I just don't think those O2 sensors are going to work correctly without the downstream cats being there. I mean, I know the sensors are in front of the cats, but you're not going to have the right back pressure and all that stuff to make them work the way that they're intended to work. And there's no way it's worth putting the cats back on. I looked it up. Even the non-carb certified cats are like $700 a piece. Yeah, that's probably a non-starter with this rig. We've already spent enough time and money on it. All right, folks, I think that's it. We're gonna send it home. Not much of a video, I guess, but I thought you might like to have some closure. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the noise is coming from that body mount. I think the bracket's actually kind of bent. Let's see if we can fix it. Fixed.